Hi, good morning, Manas, and welcome
Morning.
for this conversation. I'm so happy to have you, and it's been a long time we have chatted. So I just wanted to also talk about how this pandemic has really caused a lot of turbulence in the market and how businesses are getting impacted all across the globe. And since you have led the customer relationship management CRM for quite some time, maybe you'd like to introduce yourself a little bit, who you are and what you have done with your company, and then we'll get started with our conversation.
Good morning, Alak. It's been good to meet you after a long time, and we are totally delighted to be in this session. Yes, I'm Manash Choudhuri. I have been a serial entrepreneur in the Valley for almost 2 decades now. So started with some enterprise apps initially, have been involved with this CRM space for the last 15 years. Started our organization Converge 6 years back when we found that everything is good in the enterprise world, but when we bring the CRM to the small and medium business, a lot of bells and whistles are missing. So that's what basically has been the premise for bringing Converge to the show. And so far, as you rightly mentioned, this year has been very interesting from day one. So a lot of things are happening. And now with the advent of pandemic for the last few months, yes, the business is stalled to some extent, but at the same time, people are trying to re-engineer themselves, re-govern themselves, understand how to optimally utilize their technologies at the best possible utilization point. And I think that is also pushing companies like us to evolve much quickly. So I think to some extent, it's a pros and cons. Yes, we are not able to meet and greet people as we would love to.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think this virtual world has really pushed us to the boundaries of leveraging our technologies to the best possible utilization point. And I realize that it's just the starting point. And going forward, the new normal is today. So going forward,
Right.
even the market opens up, we are not going to go back to the old days as quickly as possible. So there will be some kind of a session where people will be monetizing this technology as much as possible. And for a CRM point of view, yes, we initially, the old school has always been that when you meet a customer, that's when the sale happens. And that's always be that then the relationship always counts. But now in the virtual world, what we are seeing is that, yes, the meeting can also happen virtually. Yes, the
Sure.
deals can happen virtually. And this is also a very nice way to optimally utilize your resources from the company's point of view. Because there you don't have so much of fixed cost to worry about because now everybody's working from their home. And then you are able to also create some kind of a orientation around your resources in such a way that they are driven by the fact that, okay, now since they have too much time available to their disposal because they're not driving around and they have a fixed place to work, we are seeing an immense increase in productivity, which is
Excellent.
which is a good way
So,
to go.
Manas, right, very good, opening statement what you have made, Manas. And as I understand that digital transformation has already come into stay, right? This pandemic has already caused that we have to do most of the business transaction with the web environment, with the digital environment, with a smart device, all of that. Even customer engagement, customer relationship, all of that probably will be done mostly on the digital environment, right? Customer relationship management begins with marketing, sales, CPQ, as well as service management, all what have you.
Sure.
And as you know, my background, I have been with Oracle for quite some time, over 2 decades, managing all of that. And then last year, I just came out, established this Centriqe and leading Centriqe, which is based on the AI, ML, intelligent process automation based services to bring positive impact to business leaders. Now, reflecting upon the business transformation, how do you see with your experience these business leaders across industry, when I talk about retail, hospitality, banking, what are the changes which you see, which they are asking for? And from your thinking, from your viewpoint, what are the areas they should be looking at so that AI artificial intelligence, machine learning, or process automation can be brought in together with your CRM offerings.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think very well said. Uh, because there's always this phase where there's certain environment situations which pushes us to the next extreme. I think right now we are at that stage where because initially, yes, the process control was already there. The business process automation is not a new term. It has been in the existence for many, many years now. AI has always been there. The only thing is that basically because of the utilization factor or the use cases were not much effectively utilized before. Now, from the CRM point of view, I would say the first thing that uh, I, as a company, try to analyze initially is my team effectively utilizing the services properly to reach out to the customer? Because I think at the end of the day, the business is only good as much as your sales reps or your marketing people executing the job on timely manner. So yeah, when you talk about the sentiment analysis, the opinion score or the NPS score and a few other things, that will certainly create the governance in order to meticulously reach out to your customers at the right time at the right point. Now, since we are at a stage where we are not able to meet personally to a lot of our prospects, the marketing solution that we have is certainly helping us to get to the next level. The way we are thinking about utilizing AI and ML is into three folds. Number one is basically bringing the sentiment analysis and score in positioning. So when we do any kind of campaign, what time they're reaching the campaigns, what time they are reading the campaign, how much time they're setting on the campaign, what kind of response we're getting from them. So this is a very interesting data points from the CRM point of view that we are analyzing now. Slowly started to analyze is, should we send the mail at 8 in the morning? Or should we send the mail at 2 in the afternoon? And when should we send it? Should it be on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Fridays, based on the data feeds that we're getting? So that's one thing is very critical because now everything is relied on emails. Number two is that we are also trying to figure out is that when we are trying to deal with the customer, since everything is happening through a process-oriented organization, because for example, let's say if I reach out to a sales rep or maybe a VP sales for the CRM, now that person may say that, okay, I have to reach out to my leadership position in order to take a decision for whether I want to buy this software or not, or why I take a decision or not. That decision making is always taking some kind of a situation where you're going from point A to point B, and there is always some kind of a lag in between. Because technically, before we can set up a time, okay, now you can get a boardroom and everybody is there, and then we are able to take a decision faster. But since this is not happening now, we are trying to utilize the CRM in order to integrate with solutions like Zoom or GoToMeeting and things like that. And I think that's where I think the CRM's next push would be is how to create an omni-channel for communication, not only the telephony, but also your other engagement cycles. And I think those inputs are very important. And when you talk about natural language processing and other information, we are seeing there is a need that is coming up from some of our sophisticated customers is that they are into some kind of a chat bot or some kind of interaction via email or perhaps some kind of voicemail drops. They would like to analyze that data points and come up with some kind of a sentiment analysis, whether it's a positive, neutral, or negative. And based on that, they would drive out, because we have the business process automation engine already. So this data points would drive our business process automation to get to the next level. So these are a lot of innovative things that are happening. The leverage that we are able to utilize is basically with technologies from Amazon or Google or IBM. Before, when you talk about ML and NLPs and AIs, we are given with this black box. Now you cannot do anything. You have to reach out to the data scientist and they can only analyze and mess around with the data. Now, at least we have the leverage to utilize these technologies like AWS Comprehend or things like that, where we can push into some kind of data models and start curating the data model over the period of time. And that would give us some kind of inputs. And again, I would say this is just a starting point. We have a long way to go, and we have just started realizing this potential. And I see in the long run, this is going to create a very nice lead scoring pattern for customer management. So whenever we are dealing with the customers, when these inputs are coming in, Should I rate it in point from scale 1 to 10 at 6, 4, or 5, or 8? And based on that, we can initiate different drips, because at the end of the day, again, everything is based on your touch points. Now, if I send the
Yep.
drips, should I send the drips at based on the score points? Should I send the drips via email, or should I send the drips with much more engaging, like a chatbot or an SMS? So that's where I think is getting very interesting, because I
Yep.
understand pandemic brings a lot of situations everywhere, but I think from the technology point of view, it is just an eye opener for everyone.
No, no, very well said, Banas. And as I see it, that you define the whole customer life cycle journey,
Yeah.
right? And it has opened up in omni-channel, right? So these days, customers are coming from various touch points, and you summarized it so well. Before even customer decide, they start browsing on the smart device, and they
Yes.
look at, the social media first, then they go to the web channel, then they go to your portal, then they start looking at all of that. And then you talked about customer patterns, right? The data science element, customer behavior, customer analysis, all of that, how and when, what frequency will work with that. So you know that Centriqe is all, we are positioning it as a data science element, or data is the new fuel. We
Yes.
all get that. Data need to be trained, then only we get the information, and then we get the intelligence. And when we train that, that becomes artificially intelligent.
Yes. Yes.
That is what I am focused on to provide our business leaders in terms of knowing customer better. Know your customer better, KYC. And you rightly said that unless you know your customer with all the touch points, all their,
Yes. Yes.
some emotional intelligence of the customer, their preferences, their
Yes. Yes.
patterns, their likes and dislikes, how you'll communicate. So Centric also came out with communication AI to communicate effectively based on behavior of customer. Centric is also giving a response AI, all AI driven, which is based on robotic process, chatbot system, so that you are able to now have anywhere you are, there is a digital assistant helping you to provide you digital feedback in real time.
Sure.
And that way you can correct it before damages are done. So now you can see you can increase your net promoter score, you can increase your emotional quotient score, EQ score. These are things which is the new thing which business leaders should be thinking about it. And that is going to increase the customer lifetime value. That is what I see a very strong synergy, Manas, between you and Centric together. Because you are giving complete end-to-end customer relationship management.
Sure.
Right? From marketing campaign down to sales, down to customer profile, all of that, and customer service, where we are coming on top to help with data mining capabilities proactively, giving predictable insights. I think we should be able to give them tremendous ROI, return of investment, and also profitability. We didn't talk about profitability measures, because customers will be also measuring which is working, which is not working, how your cost optimizing based on the business process. So intelligent process automation is needed, right? So profitability management control is needed. All of that coming in very, very handy in the current situation, right?
Very true.
So I'm so glad that you touched upon many, many areas and topics. For now, I really appreciate your insights for our business leaders who are listening, who will be really coming back to us to know more about what Converge Hub does and what Centric will offer. And if we have to offer integrated services, we'll be able to offer across the cloud, any cloud environment, because we are cloud agnostic. We offer cloud agnostic services. Customers should be able to sign up based on whichever cloud model they wanted to go for. So I can really rest assured, Manas, it is good conversation with you, and I'm really looking forward to bringing some good customer engagement together.
Love to.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.